Sticking on the topics of kids, as kids grow older, they begin to care more deeply, and with that comes overthinking. So how can we help them navigate this, especially when you find yourself caught up in the what ifs too? Well, that is where we turn to Dr. Tim Jordan. One, thank you for rejoining us here on Great Days. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Perfect. So let's just jump right into this. Talk to me about overthinking, why it's bad, and how we start to navigate this.
I work with a lot of girls in middle school and high school, and they're famous for ruminating. So what happens is something's coming up, like they have a test coming up, and they start getting anxious, like what if I get a bad grade in the test? What if I fail? But it doesn't stop there. Then they go, if I get a bad grade in the test, what if it brings my GPA down? If my GPA goes down, what if I can't get into a good college? If I can't get into a good college, what kind of a job am I going to get? If I can't get a good job, I'm not going to be able to make any money. And their brain goes that fast. That's why I'm talking fast. And they always worst case it. And so what I teach them to do is, instead of focusing on the what ifs, which is always an anxious, dark place in the future, I have them switch it to two different things. One of them is what is. Okay. Like, what is the truth? Because a lot of the kids I see who are the most anxious about the test are usually the best students. And so I'll say, what's your history? And they'll say, well, I usually do pretty well. I say, well, like in the past 10 years, you're a sophomore in high school, how many F's have you gotten in your report card? And they'll go, well, none. How many D's? None. How many C's? None. So your typical report card at the end of the semester is almost all A's and some B's. So your truth is, what is the truth is, I'll do fine. I'll figure it out, because I always have.
Now, how can we help kids actually navigate this? So let's say we implement this, what are ways that we can make that easier for them to understand and practice it?
They have to learn to catch themselves. When they first start to get that anxious feeling, it may be a pit in their stomach, or they start to breathe faster, they get more uptight. They can catch themselves when they start saying things like, what if, and say, wait, time out. I know what I'm doing. I'm starting to ruminate. If I don't do something, I'm going to go down this dark road to this horrible future. The other thing I teach them to do is say, what else? So if they're home on a Saturday night, and they open up their phone and they see their two best friends at a sleepover, they start to ruminate. What if they don't like me anymore? What if I'm losing my friends? What if? And I say, instead of saying that, switch it to what else? What else could it mean that they're having a sleepover, just the two of them? It doesn't mean they hate you and they don't want you to be your friend. What happened is their parents said you can only have one person over. Or they're in the same basketball team, and after the game they said, hey, why don't you just come over and spend the night? There's always a more true, more positive reason for something to happen, so they can switch out of what-ifing the worst case into what else could it be.
I know we're talking about kids here, but even as we just said, this could work for adults too, because I'm taking a lot away from this. So what's your advice for someone who is of age, who thinks that they might have it down, but they still find themselves in a constant state of overthinking?
Well, first thing is awareness. Learn to catch yourself when you start down the path, and then give yourself a couple of quick, easy kinds of things, like instead of what-ifing it to what is it, what is my truth, or what else is it. That's pretty simple to do that. If they can do that, they'll keep themselves out of ruminating into this worst-case, dark thing that makes people anxious and stressed out, which is where none of us want to go.
Dr. Jordan, thank you so much for giving us these tips to help our kids navigate. We always love having you on the show. Meanwhile, you can hear more from Dr. Jordan by listening to his podcast, Raising Daughters. You can also find this segment on firstalert4.com/greatday following the show.